What is up, guys? It is Q here, bringing you all a brand new video. A little bit late, admittedly, but it is new nonetheless. I'm going to turn up the gain a little bit here. That way you guys can hear me a little bit better. There we go. That's probably about right where we want it. So, of course, today I'm going to be talking about the SKS, and which I have right here is mine. Obviously, I have removed the bayonet. That's just going to make it a little bit handier. But yeah, here we have the SKS. Unloaded, as you guys can see. That maxed that out. So maybe we'll turn it down a little bit. Is that going up? No, that's going, yeah, that's going down. Okay, we want it down. We want the gain up, but we want the elimination, because I kind of had myself deafened a little bit. But anyway, so I'm going to be talking today about why or why not you should Bubba your SKS, as it's called, Bubbaing, which is kind of doing this, you know, it's the classic, should I do something tactical with my SKS? And in general, the answer is no. And that's what most people will often tell you is no, don't Bubba your SKS, just keep it the same. And I'm going to tell you guys something different today, because I think the SKS should be Bubbaed to a certain degree if you really want it to. So I'm going to explain exactly why you might want to actually Bubba your SKS. So let's hop right into that. Okay, so right here I have the 3 parts that I'm going to be talking about in question, but it's really more 4 parts, 5 parts because of the gas tube. I also have my main bolt right here, which of course is a tilting bolt. You can see it lock and unlock here. Real fancy stuff, not really. Tilt locking is usually pretty, it's decently simple. And then of course I have my mainspring here. So I want to talk about these parts, and the SKS, you know what, we'll get this out of the way. I'll put this back in its box real quick, fold the stock, and we'll go ahead and put this back in the case, at least for the time being. Okay, so let's talk about these parts right here. So these parts are really the heavily customizable systems, other than obvious things like a trigger guard, and of course, oh, I don't have the mag in that box anymore. That's right, I put my mags in a separate case. But you can, of course, use different mags. There's plenty of different aftermarket mags, mag releases, mag release systems, all kinds of that. But I want to focus on these guys. Now, 2, or at least really one of these guys, which is right here, which is the top cover. We see a lot of, it's one of the more popular parts to aftermarket. What you'll see is a lot of these will have Picatinny rails or dovetails or just generic universal scope mounts on these for mounting, you know, whatever optic you want. And admittedly, there's upsides and downsides. Upside is it's very simple to take one of these on and off and replace it. These are literally just held in place by one pin and these little sliding bars here. So it slides in to the receiver. As you guys can see, it's kind of got this little tooth thing going, kind of, because it kind of comes up and wraps around. That'll slide right into the receiver, and then it locks in place with that big old pin. But the problem is these rattle around a lot, and so they don't really hold zero all that well. Now you can get a general idea. You'll be hitting your target generally speaking, but you're not going to be hitting it consistently. The very well zeroed mounts that I've seen are usually either a system that combines both the gas system, get back in there, piston, we'll take you out in a second, combine both the gas system and this, and they'll have kind of a one that will go in and it will also mount up here, or it will rivet into the sight block as well. And that's kind of what you'll see for scope mounts that really hold their zero well. So yeah, of course, the next part on our list is the actual gas system. Now the gas system on the SKS is pretty simple. It consists of your gas piston, which is a very simple ordeal. It's just a nice little guy. Needs to be clean, definitely. But it's just a simple gas piston. It has gas rings up here, and there's nothing fancy with the end. It's just a piece of metal that's going to smack on another piece of metal. And of course, your gas tube is super duper simple as well. Let me see if I can get you guys a full picture. Yeah, you can kind of see it at the end. But it's just a hollow, of course, gas tube. Not even, I mean, woo! That was loud. My apologies. But you'll see that it fits pretty well. It's pretty well machined. And a lot of people say that SKSs are cheap, not well manufactured rifles. But if you get the right one, they're actually pretty nice quality. But what you see a lot of people do is they'll actually remove this front handguard and they'll put on, some sort of aftermarket handguard. It might be an optics mount. It might be like a weird canted rail or something. But you see this replaced pretty generally because it's a pretty easy thing to take off because it's just attached here at the bottom. It's nothing fancy. It's a very simple part to take off. So, but yeah, the system is very simple, and thus as long as you're machining it right, this could have a lot of potential. You could do a lightweight handguard gas tube system. You could possibly have a lighter weight one of these or a heavier weight one. Something that I would absolutely love to see would to be an adjustable gas regulator for this, because it could absolutely be done. And the easiest way to do this would to be to set it to where the gas piston doesn't sit fully. It maybe comes back another few inches. Just have it trimmed down, just that little bit, and then have a gas regulator right up here that replaces this little like half-inch area. And you could have adjustable gas system for using different types of ammo, just to make it a little bit better. Because while this does have vent holes here and here, just like any gas-operated gun, having overgassing your rifle is never fun. And finally, the last part I want to talk about real quick is the bolt carrier here. Now, this is it's a clunky piece of metal. These things are ridiculously heavy. This and this together are one hell of a combo. It's a quite heavy bolt system. And there it is. You guys can actually see how this thing operates. You'll get it pushing, and yeah, very simple. But the one thing about this that you could really customize would be you could make it lighter weight, cut off, maybe have one that doesn't have the stripper clip guide. Maybe have one that has a threaded option to where you can unthread your charging handle, and maybe put on an upswept one where you can grab it like right here. If I'm shooting, I reload, put in my ugly ducktail magazine, I can just reach up without having to either go like this, do the AK under, or do the AK side over. I can just sweep it up like a Galil's charging handle. You could have one that's maybe a beer keg, like how the Swiss like it, or you could have one that's just polymer. There's a lot of options here, and it would be very simple. You could just, have a company that takes this guy and put in some nice, very simple, just a very, very simple threaded piece, and offer threaded charging handles. As long as they're durable, I see no reason why that would be a bad idea. So with that, let's reassemble the SKS, and I will talk a little bit more about this, give you some conclusions. So here we are, back with the SKS. It's obviously assembled from where it was. So why should the SKS be Bubba, or why should it not be looked down upon? Well, a lot of people look down upon the SKS and the idea of bubbaing because they think of it like, you're taking your SKS and you're trying to make it into an AK because SKSs are cheap. And unfortunately, SKSs really aren't cheap anymore. They go for about as much as a really cheap AK or a really cheap AR. I got this guy at the end of the day for right under $300. It would have been under $200, but a guy actually kept bidding me up and up and up, and then just stopped bidding on it. He didn't want it enough to outdo my max bid. He just bid me up to my max bid and then left the auction, which really sucked, and it was at the last minute too. So, but I did get this for, I think, right around $280. But while they are sometimes a little bit on the cheaper side, they're going up, and they're becoming more and more of kind of a wowee neat collector's item than a ooh baby cheap surplus rifle, because they're not necessarily super cheap anymore. You hear stories, especially when you talk about, I want to do this to my SKS, all you ever hear is people go, back in my day, you could get an SKS for, $30 out of the barrel at the front of the gun store. And why would you ever put any more money into an SKS than what you paid? Well, it's kind of like asking, why would you put any more money into blank platform? Because you want to, because you like the platform, you like what it does, how it does it, and so why not make some improvements on it? And so the SKS has heavy potential to be something as customizable as an AK at the very least, I would say. Probably not AR levels, because the AR really brings a next level of interchangeability and just general customizability to the table. I'm forgetting the word right now. Oh well. It's very moddable. And the SKS has the potential, and if you look hard enough online, you'll find all kinds of stuff. You'll find bipod mounts for your bayonet. You'll find bullpup kits to turn your SKS into a bullpup. You'll find aftermarket stocks. You'll find optic rails that only mount right here. Now, admittedly, you can actually mount a piece of optic right here on the very back, and it will stay in place quite well. You have ones that mount here and go all the way up to the sight block here. You have ones that are just the sight block. You have ones that are just the front handguard, as rattly as these things can be. You have a lot of options. You can obviously get side folders. You can get all kinds of stocks that your heart desires. You can't really do much with the front sight. You'd have to get a gunsmith to do that, because the front sight block is a part of the barrel. But the ability to customize an SKS is there. It's just the stigma that has surrounded an SKS for so long that makes, customizing it immediately a bad thing. You're a Bubba. You're a backwoods boy who's looking to make a cheap AK. And if you're like me, that's not what you looked for when you got an SKS. I got an SKS because I think they're really cool. They're a part of a very interesting part of weapon lineage, in my opinion, that ties in with the RPD, the AK, and everything past that point. And I want the ability to turn this into a piece that people go, wow, that's really interesting, or just something that I can enjoy. And so I think that this whole concept of Bubbaing is bad should really just be done away with. Because at the end of the day, every rifle has the potential to be customized up to a point. And when somebody has an AR that they've customized, we go, wow, cool, nice build. When somebody has an AK, we go, wow, nice, cool build. But when someone has an SKS, we go, wow, you really butchered and bubbaed that. If I was looking for, if I wanted to make this AK, I could get one that took AK mags and had a cut down, paratrooper barrel, and I could put an AK sight block on it with a red dot or something. But I'm not looking to do that, and a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are just looking to take the SKS and kind of transform it. So I think at the end of the day, the SKS is a absolutely viable platform. And while it might not have the plethora of mods you would get from an AK or an AR, the potential is definitely there. And I hope more and more companies see this potential and start capitalizing on it. But as SKS prices go up, people buying SKSs goes down. I see far less SKSs at gun stores. I see them far less online than I did even 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You would see SKSs all over for $150, $200, but now you're lucky to find one for $300, like I got this one. And so I really hope that what happens is as SKS prices go up, the options for customizing go up as well. Because more people will be more likely to put actual time into their gun. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, thank you. If you're interested in watching me improve my content, continue here on YouTube, and make more content, check out the Patreon link down below. You can support me for as little as $1 a month, and it goes a long way for me personally. It means a ton. For every view, means a ton to me. Every like, every subscriber, and especially, the Patreons, that's gonna mean a ton to me. So, if you want to help me improve my content here and keep creating here on YouTube, it would be much appreciated. But if you can't, I completely understand. I'm not proven, I'm not well known, but we're getting there. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And from me and the SKS, adios. We'll see you next time.